Hello and welcome to our next installation, NFL DFS Week 3. We're back, GAB Sports. And I admit it's been a little bit of a rough go here in the early going of the first couple of weeks of the season. But we're on the right track. We believe in the process. We believe in our takes. We believe in what we're seeing to be able to put together a winning strategy, turning things around starting this week, right now. So, let me introduce myself. I'm Q, aka Young Moolah, and we are gentle and blissful, gifted and beautiful, generous and benevolent, and most appreciatively grateful and blessed. GAB Sports, guidelines to achieve and build. The masses, the field, the big fields are going to go where the chalk lines are clearly drawn. And what we're going to do, we're not riding all this chalk. There are some good chalk definitely out there this week, but we're not just going to ride all these chalk plays that I see everyone talking up and all the different outlets are hyping up for this week. We got a couple under the radar picks. And if you've been paying attention, you will see my poster boy is going to be a part of that. He's included on my thumbnail. Just to give you a heads up. All right, but all right. So some of the things that I've been looking at for this week are some of the game environments that I think will really be a benefit to us in DFS this week. Heavy on this particular correlation, although I do have a couple other correlations from this particular game as well. But what we want to start off with is we're in a large field GPP. So, as the goal is always the same. We're trying to get to that top 0.1, 0.2% of drafts, of lineups, okay? So we don't want to mess around here. We're going with strategies that are going to have us continue to, if it hits, that have us continue to rise up the standings, whereas our opponents who may be riding a whole lot of chalk, they won't be rising up the standings quite as much as us if these plays that we have outlined hit. And I'm really feeling good about these plays that I identified. We're going to start off with two wide receivers from this game, the two number one options for each team. We're going to ride each one of them here in this lineup. That would be Drake London and Tetairoa McMillan. Yes. All right. From there, we're going to go in a different direction of where everybody else is going to go. We know Bijan's going to be pretty chalky in this game. But I'm going to go ahead and put in two value running backs. Both of these guys are assuming a new role on their teams, true heavy workload right away. It's hard to say, but we're going to go ahead and take the initiative, take the stand that he's getting it right now. We're not going to wait. We're going to jump right into the fire, head first. Yeah, I believe in it. Great matchup. But the first guy we're going to put in there is this guy, Jordan Mason. Yeah, we already know his situation. He's replacing Aaron Jones. They're already talking about heavy workload. So the Jordan Mason play will likely be fairly high owned, if not extremely high owned, due to his price, expected workload, matchup. We can see that this will look like a very chalky play. So we're going to counter that with my poster boy. Yes, we're going straight to it. We're not wasting time. We're going right to it. It's this guy right here, JCM. Yes, we believe in it right now. Lil Bill, about to do his thing. So that gives a group here in these early games of Jordan Mason, JCM, Drake London, and Tetairoa McMillan. Good plays there out of those 3 games. And so if we want to go ahead and look at a potential stack that we want to use in those games, we have the Denver Chargers. Actually, it's 4 games. Denver Chargers. We got New Orleans, Seattle. And we got Dallas, Chicago, whom everybody's going to be on. Just got to figure out how do you want to play these. And then we have Arizona, San Francisco. So a stack that I'm targeting, and I don't think it'll be all that visible for everyone to utilize this combination of this stack. We're going to go to that Dallas-Chicago game, and we're going to take the We're going to take the Chicago side in this lineup. Let's go ahead and do that. How do we want to piece this together? We're going to take Caleb, but not with a Dunze. We're going to take Caleb with DJ Moore. And then we're going to run that one back with CD Lamb. So that gives us a nice correlated stack here for a late game, which has the highest over-under. And, yeah, it won't be invisible to the public, but maybe this will be a stack and run back that people won't put together as much as maybe in the Dunze part of the stack with Caleb, or also the Dak side with CD Lamb. This Caleb, DJ Moore, CD Lamb's correlation, we'll go ahead and just stick that one in here and roll with it. Okay, so tight end, looks like we want to go with another late play here with our tight end spot. And what we're going to do there, just going to go ahead and add this guy, Trey McBride. It's going to be bad. But we're not going to ride every single chalk in every lineup. We're going to ride some of the chalk in every lineup, but not a lot of chalk in every lineup. That's a strategy for this week. I think that's going to be able to get us to our goal of trying to hit the top couple of percents of these tournaments, top few spots. So that leaves us with only 2,500 for our defense. We're going to go with a contrarian defense even. We'll take the Rams, 2,400 on the road against Philadelphia. Maybe they can get a couple turnovers, maybe a special teams touchdown, who knows. But defenses have so much variance that I'd rather focus on the core position players and then just settle on a defense a lot of times. You don't have to really target a specific defense. These spots, the quarterback spot, build that into your lineups so that you won't be left shorthanded when you're trying to compete. If your first few picks of the day happen to do very well and you're off to a great start, you might want to look at those late games, the plays you have already penciled in, and you might want to rearrange some things. That's kind of what I'm looking at this week. I may want to switch up some things coming into those late games. So I'm going to keep some positions open to add some flexibility. But yeah, we like this lineup here. Let's go ahead and rock with this one. We want to go over to Underdog. Let's go over to Underdog. All right, so on Underdog, there's been, a lot of changes due to all these injuries that have come up. So a lot of projections have changed for several of the teams, players, and we're going to capitalize on that at this late juncture. This is Friday night, late Friday night. We're coming at you, and we're going to go ahead and capitalize on some of that. These late changes and these due to injuries. due to guys sitting out due to defensive injuries as well as offensive injuries, because there's been a lot of things happening on the defensive side of the ball. Once again, thank you for joining us here at GAB Sports for our weekly installation NFL DFS strategy and lineup building. So we're going ahead and do a draft on Underdog in the Battle Royals. Do a couple of them, crank out a couple of them, then head back over, finish this puppy off with another lineup build with a different approach on DraftKings. Go ahead and remember to like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment for your boy as we go on this journey. Thank you for your support. All right, let's do it. Let's throw on a little music here. Some late night creepers. Maybe they're a little foggy from being out at the clubs. You can take advantage of them. Take advantage of some of this news that we've gotten. I think a lot of the noise that's being talked and bandied about is centering around what we're seeing happen these first couple of weeks. You got Indianapolis, who's looked just great, right, on offense. I don't even believe they've punted yet. I mean, imagine that. A team guided by Daniel Jones has 0 punts through 2 weeks. Who could imagine that? We can't make this stuff up. And you have teams such as the Green Bay Packers. Is this defense really this good? Or is it just maybe they just have some sort of euphoria, some sort of high just from getting Micah Parsons, that they're playing a little bit out of their mind right now? But now they're going to go on the road for the first time. We want to check that out. So I'm not sure if everything that we're seeing is 100% real. It usually never is in the NFL. We know that things can turn around so quickly. Just look last year, New Orleans, first couple of weeks, looking like world beaters. Then they come in week 3, come back down to reality, you know. After 2 games, everything's not a trend already. So let's not be too quick to just jump on board of what we think is our trends when they may just be a mirage. Try to identify some things that we know about some of these real stud players who are on some of these teams, and we can ride that. Or people who are filling in for injured guys or guys that are still out on suspension. Maybe there's an opening there. Either way, you got to be able to take some stands. You got to be able to make some tough calls. And that's what we're doing this week. We're taking some stands, we're making some tough calls, we're making some very under the radar selections as well with our player pool. Oh, 5th pick here. 5th pick, I kind of want to try something. I'm going to go with JT. There's several defenders out. One of their big defensive tackles for Tennessee has been ruled out. I think JT is a guy who's on a roll right now. He's looking really good. He's a part of that Indianapolis Colts offense that I do not believe is a mirage. And so we're going to ride with JT. In all formats, on all sites, JT's a strong play this week, in my opinion. Grab you some. What? Jamar Chase? Justin Jefferson? It's a really tough call. Really tough call. I'm going to go with the home player. The guy at home. Just Jeff. Both teams have backup quarterbacks. We're going to trust the home guy. Carson Wentz can get it done. He has a better matchup too, Justin Jefferson, versus the Cincinnati defense, as opposed to Jamar Chase versus the Minnesota Vikings defense. But I think either guy, still, we're talking about these two elite dudes, either guy can go nuclear here. So don't bet against Chase too often, because I will also have some Chase shares here on Underdog as well as on DraftKings. Jamar Chase is one of a kind of a guy, right? But on this particular roster, we're going to go ahead and go with our guy, Justin Jefferson. I might want to stack him too. Who knows? I haven't ruled it out. A Carson Wentz stack on these battle royals could be worthwhile. Could give us an angle. All right. Do we go full onslaught? Full onslaught, Minnesota. 3 down workload looks like. I mean, I don't know who the backup is. Did they bring in Cam Akers or something like that off the street? We're not worried about this guy. Look for Jordan Mason to get all 3 downs here. That's what I'm seeing. Oh, and we get Drake London? Wow. This is shaping up to be a pretty strong roster. We will take him as well. So now we just need to fill out the quarterback and the tight end spot. Do we want to go with the full onslaught of Minnesota? That's the question. Kind of leaning towards it. Although Herbert looks pretty nice. Cam Ward. Wow. There he is. I passed him up. I don't think we're going to go Dak. Cam and Chig or Carson Wentz for the full onslaught. Mariota Ertz. That's a possibility. If Justin Jefferson gets there and helps us win this, Jordan Mason gets there and helps us win this, Carson Wentz pretty much has to get there. Right? If we're going to win this contest with this lineup. On the other hand, a Mariota skinny. What the hell? Let's go with the onslaught. Boy, I like some Njoku this week. I think Njoku coming in hot. That Fanta has been stealing his shine so far early in this season. But looks like Njoku, he could get some targets here. Look for Cleveland to compete in this game. I don't think they're going to get run off their home field. I think this is going to be a close game. They'll have a chance to even win at the end. Let's roll Njoku. Njoku would get us a touchdown. So there we have it. See what we did there? Started with JT out of the 5 spot. Come back with Justin Jefferson. Even came back with another Minnesota player. Jordan Mason, Drake London, rounded off the receiving core. And then we have Carson Wentz for the onslaught, the Minnesota Viking onslaught. And we finished the roster out with David Njoku, who's at a home game against Green Bay Packers. We're going to see if that defense is really spectacular. I think they're good, but I don't know if they're as good as they've been showing. I look for Cleveland to move the ball against them, score a little bit of points too. So there you have it. Let's jump into another one. All right. I mean, there's obviously these clear chalk lines. If you're just going to follow that, you might as well just play a lot of cash games, because to me, those are going to be the lineups where everybody's going to play, and I'm just going to bank that everybody's going to lose and that everybody's going to be wrong. That's how we just try to get the first place. We're not going to just roll with the masses. We're not going to just go with the flow and just say, oh, all these plays will be correct. No, all these plays won't be correct this week. Somebody's got some stuff wrong. We want to be that one guy who's in his own lane, and he just keeps on going. That turtle, the tortoise, and the hare. The hares, they got all the momentum. They got all the chalk. All right. Let's get back to the draft. We got the first pick. Wow. Wouldn't you know it? Bijan, number one stunner. No need to get cute here. Go Bijan. Who else can we rock? McBride, Nico, Rome. We don't want any more Atlanta. No, we're not going on an onslaught here. We're not going to do two onslaughts. Hurts. We do love Mason, though. Love Mason this week. How about these guys? Brock. DK, a little difference. Tyler Warren. AJ Brown. All right. Oh, there's a little urine at the end there. We got 5 receivers in a row. They gonna make it 6. Another pass catcher. I would have liked to get Trey McBride myself, but we'll see. We're gonna do a tight end. Let's do this. Go with Hurts. Don't hurt him, Hurts. And we're going to go Kenneth Walker. So we're going to save our receivers for later. So I know I can get at least one of the Philly guys if I want. Or I might just run back with Devontae Adams and get a solo Hurts. That can get there. There's a scenario where that gets there. Hurts throws 2 touchdowns, but not a lot of yards. Runs for 2 touchdowns on top of it. And a guy like Devontae Adams, 9 for 120 and a touchdown or 2. That's a scenario that's plausible. So let's go ahead and put Devontae Adams in our queue here. I think I want to do that. I'm not so sure. Let's hope he gets to me. There's a sneaky receiver that I want to play. I'm also going to play him on DraftKings when we build our next lineup. Coming right up after this. This guy right here. Yes, he'll be in my lineup on DraftKings. And I think he's a sneaky play this week. Him or Golden. But Dontavian Wicks, I'll tell you why a little later. Why I want to play this guy. But we may put him on this roster. We just might. Sometimes you have to scroll down. I like the Pittsburgh tight ends as well this week. Jonnu, Farmer. I do like both of those guys. Devontae didn't make it to us. That's a shame. I really wanted him. I don't even know if I want A.J. Brown on this lineup. But gonna have to take him. We'll book AJ. AJ, and I'm gonna save Wicks for our last pick. I do want to put Wicks on this team. One with Frymouth. Pat Freiermuth. Gonna roll with that one. And we're gonna scroll down and get really froggish. Get real jiggy with it. What I got? Dontavian Wicks. Let's see. Got 6 targets last game. I mean, there's that opening. Jaden Reed still out. Kraft out. Likely out this week. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball. These are the reasons why a guy like Dontavian Wicks might be a play here. Get you some. Yeah, I take chances, man. I mean, it's one of those things where I think if you're really trying to win big here, you can't just be going by the script and taking all the guys that like who get drafted over here on the Battle Royal. If you're trying to win the Battle Royal, trying to come in first place, get that 50K, if you're just going to draft everybody who's 100% owned, I mean, when is your team ever going to rise on its own to get to the top? Sometimes you have 1 or 2 guys that's only helping you for the most part. You know, obviously you have to crush your early picks. Then you have to have the right guys in those early slots who've obviously been drafted 100% of the time. But those late couple of picks, if you got that 1 or 2 guys that nobody really is on, and they happen to, get you a touchdown or 2, you have that angle, right? Where you could be the guy rising at the end to claim that first place prize. Let's go with Wicks, man. We're going to do it. No, nobody's going to pick him, I'm sure. So I got Wicks and Frymer, 2 guys who aren't getting drafted here. You can tell by their ADP, they're both 36. That means they're very rarely getting drafted here. Yeah, we'll take it. Wicks, come on down. All right. So this roster started off at the number 1 spot with Bijan Robinson. Can't go wrong there. Came back on that 2-3 turn. Jalen Hurts. Kenneth Walker. Looks like Zach Charbonnet is going to be ruled out, right? It should be a smash play this Sunday against that Saints defense. Then we filled in our stack. We wanted Devontae Adams. Didn't work out. So we should go ahead and complete the stack, skinny, with A.J. Brown. He's due for a game, isn't he? It can happen here. Yeah. Very tough Rams defense. But when you got star players like this, they can do it against anybody. Then came back with Pat Freiermuth, also in that 4th-5th turn. A guy who's going undrafted. I like the Steelers tight ends here. And I'm just hoping I'm picking the right guy to give me the touchdown. I got some Jonnu, got some Freiermuth. Maybe both of them get a touchdown. Maybe one of them gets one. Maybe one of them gets two. Who knows? We'll roll with Freiermuth here. And then we come in with our sneaky, super scroll down pick, Dontavian Wicks. Yeah, like that play. All right, there you have it. We'll go ahead and stop right there with our 2 drafts here on Underdog this week. And we're going to move. All right. So we're going to just go ahead and hop into this 888K play action. The super large field. 350,000 entries. Yeah, I like this one because it's 20 max. 20 max, I can deal with those. Even though it's a long shot. But hey, you might be able to strike that top tier of 0.5, 0.2, 0.3, 0.1%, right? Let's do it. All right, so our first draft, we started off with a correlation that we really like, and we're going to be pretty heavy on. This time, we know what I'm suspecting a lot of people are going to be on these cheap quarterbacks. I mean, you almost have to have some exposure to these cheap guys, right? When you're coming in this cheap and you're a quarterback, it's a no-brainer, right? I just don't want to be going down the rabbit hole fully, even though there'll be a lot of people who will, I'm sure. And it's not a bad idea to even go full throttle in this. So, which cheap quarterback we want to start off here with? Let's try, since I just did a Wentz onslaught over on Underdog, you kind of see where I'm going with the Wentz picks. So we'll just go ahead and stay away from that one here. And we're going to try a build with the Mariota side, okay? Okay, we got Mariota. And we're going to come with a skinny stack of Mariota. Terry McLaurin, 5,800. Instead of running it back, instead of continuing the stack with our guy JCM here, we're going to try something different. We're going to run it back with that guy on the other side. How about it? They've been complaining about getting more touches. Sometimes when that squeaky wheel needs a little grease, you start hearing some chatter coming out of there, and they end up following through. So we're going to just trust Pete Carroll saying he wants to give Genty 20 carries. Let's see it, Carroll. Let's do it right now. Why are you waiting? There's no Jaden Daniels. You should be able to stay in this game. Washington hasn't been a juggernaut to start the season, so I think they can do it. We wanted to put in our guy, right? We said we're going to put in our guy, Dontavian Wicks, in this lineup. I'm not going to lie. I already know his price. I've been using him already. $3,700. He's $3,700. Let's find him. Dontavian Wicks. Okay. Any other early game plays? Remember, we wanted to save some late game heroics. So we're going to stay for that late slate of games. We want to keep some spots open. But there's a guy that he's super chalky, right? But if you look at these 4 plays, the quarterback aside, who may be a little bit chalky, these other 3 plays are not going to be chalky at all. They're not going to bring hardly any ownership. So, that being said, we're going to have some chalky backs. We're going to do that Bijan thing. And we want to play another top receiver. It's this guy. To kind of hedge our stake in Jordan Mason, we want to go ahead and play some of this guy too. Justin Jefferson. Yeah, it's a great matchup itself. They're going to want to air this out against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not a great defense. So I think they're going to get some passing volume in here too. Okay, so we're going with Justin Jefferson. We have 2 guys we like. Well, the defense and the running back correlation we want to get in. We're going to go ahead and do that one by locking in our guy, Kenneth Walker, and his Seattle defense as our late hammer. That leaves us $5K for tight end. $5K for tight end. Or do we go 27 for tight end, which would give us around 6K for a receiver? Can see what that looks like. I think I want to see what that looks like because I could put Wicks in some other lineups. I want to go ahead and put in his teammate here, though. Luke Musgrave, my punt tight end. Let's do that. Because there's a guy I still want to have a lot of. And he fits the bill here because I also have Bijan. And that's this guy. Tetairoa McMillan. Love him this week. I think this is a week where he puts one in the end zone, puts one in the box. We got the Bijan Tetairoa correlation. I got that in a ton of lineups. And I mixed in a little bit of Drake London and Tetairoa as well. So this is a build that I think will start off kind of chalky because a lot of people are going to go with that 4K quarterback and try to jam in a lot of the studs at the top. But you got to kind of pick and choose maybe which studs you want, or if you even want to jam in a bunch of studs in every lineup. Here, we got 2 studs we jammed in. Justin Jefferson, Bijan Robinson, but then we balanced it out with kind of a, balanced lineup. Other than Genty, who's, he's not really cheap, but he's not in that higher end tier of pricing as well. So I think this lineup has a lot of potential in that it's not going to be super chalky, even though it has some chalk pieces. And again, I think that's the delicate balance of how we want to do things this week. We're going to have to play some of the chalk. They're just in too good of spots. But you want to be judicious with your selections and your lineup builds in total to not be all completely full of chalk. And I think we accomplished that here. And we're just going to keep on building like this week because I think this is the way to get to those top prizes. So go ahead and follow your boy on social media. GAB Sports coming at you every week with our NFL DFS strategy and lineup builds. Go ahead and say peace, and we're out of here. Thank you.